Hello everyone, so I'm back here with round number 6 versus Alephya2. What do I know about his deck? I know he's playing his zombie deck again with a bunch of recruiters, and he added Mystic Tomato this time with Newdoria. And other than that, it's pretty much like his standard stuff, like regenerating mummy, stuff like that. So let's just begin. Alrighty. Yeah, there's only one play here. It's just going to be Book of Moon with Koichi. Not going to set Night Assailant, not going to set Faith. Just want Dekoichi to get run over by maybe like a Pyramid Turtle, and then I go Tribe, discard Night Assailant, get back to Dekoichi. He starts off with Charity, discarding Regenerating Mummy and Kaiku. Summons Pyramid Turtle, and there's the knock. And I just take 12. I draw Upstart. Upstart's really good here because now I can set my Faith after using Upstart. And I draw Tsukiyomi. Yeah, no play here other than just setting Faith, hope that he attacks it, and then I make that Tribe, discard Night Assailant play next turn. I am a little worried about a potential creature swap, but there's just nothing I can do to play around it. He heavies, and I decided to chain Book just because I want to act like I might have Nobleman in my hand. And who knows, maybe there's some world where he keeps Pyramid Turtle face down. At least give him the option. Yeah, so he creature swaps to take my Magician of Faith while he has Charity in the graveyard. So this is pretty terrible for me. I do have a really good follow-up play though. I draw a Ring. So yeah, the play here is very easy. You summon Tribe, attack my Faith, discard Night Assailant to destroy both zombies and take back the Faith. Set Ring of Destruction, and he will take back his Charity. He's going to activate Charity again. Discarding Despair from the Dark and Tribute to the Doomed. Sets a monster. I draw Thunder Dragon. So I'm thinking here whether I maybe want to summon Tsukiyomi, but I would rather go for the set Faith in main phase 2. And also when I attack and it's, I don't know, something like Mystic Tomato, I'll just be dropping Chaos. Wait, yeah, I'll drop Chaos Sorcerer main phase 2. Because I'm discarding a light with the Thunder Dragon. It's Newdoria though, so Tribe is destroyed. And now I just use Thunder Dragon and set Faith. Third time this game I'm trying to set a flip. This time I have a nice setup because I can use Ring on a monster and then get the Soup Loop going. And Chaos Sorcerer is live. He goes Knock though, his second knock. Decides to summon Spy and attack. I do have a choice to ring here, but I don't see the point. I would rather just get the +1 off sorcerer, save ring for something else. I draw nobleman. Yeah, only option here is just to use sorcerer. Could like set Tsukiyomi, but why? I want to get the sorcerer on the board. And he does chain Book of Moon after some thought. And now I could chain Ring to that, but I would rather use my nobleman to destroy the spy and save Ring for when he tries to push with something. I did have an option to maybe leave the spy there, because Sorcerer will handle it eventually, but if he can answer Sorcerer, I am just going to lose to the aggression of the spies. So I just do this. Both noblemans are gone, so I'm safe to put this face down. And also if he had Snatch, I don't have a great way to deal with that. I do have Ring, but I would still lose 23. The only thing about this is that when you put the Chaos face down, you're dealing less damage next turn, because you'll have to like flip, attack, and then probably put it down again, where if you left it face up, you deal 34. Especially if they have like a face-up monster, you can like banish and do the flip and flip again. He sets a monster and I draw another nobleman, which is nice. I attack for 23. And at this point is where I really consider not using Tsukiyomi on this. I can maybe set Tsukiyomi. Worst case, I have to ring the sorcerer if Snatch. But I decide to just play it safe, because like, what can you really do? Oh, there is actually something I have been worried about in this game, and that is Book of Life. If he can Book of Life Despair from the Dark, I can't do anything with Ring. So each of these turns I'm hoping that he doesn't top deck Book of Life, or even Premature. He sets a back row. I know his deck is on Decrees, so keep that in mind. I draw Upstart. So we're getting into that range where I'm trying to get him into range to kill him with Ring. But 56 minus 23 is 33. So I still wouldn't be able to do that yet. So I would have to get an attack in this turn and next turn to be able to do that. So I decided that, hold on, if I get an attack in this turn and next turn, that's 4,600 damage. I upstart now. That puts him 66. 66 minus 46 is 2,000. So my Ring would still be live in that scenario. So I use Upstart here, which draws just a useless Dust Shoot. I flip, attack. And at this point, I'm just going to keep straight up playing around Snatch. He has not been able to do anything while this has been face down all these turns, so now there's like a pretty good chance there actually has been a Snatch this whole time. And I just set the Dust Shoot as a bluff. Not something necessary to do, but it's not like I play card destruction in my deck, so I'm not gonna get punished for that. So he does draw a Book of Life, and he targets Ryukoki and Tribe. And that's gonna get rung. Now remember, if he targets Despair, I just can't do anything. Look at my hand. I can't do anything. So, but there is a reason he did do this. He did this because he has Snatch. So he was playing around me having Wing Blast. If I were to Wing Blast Ryukoki, it's only a 1 tribute if he goes Snatch tribute for Ryukoki. Where if it was Despair, he wouldn't be able to tribute. However, if I Wing Blast Ryukoki, you'd just lose anyway. Because I'm just gonna keep doing Sorcerer Sook. You still won't be able to use Snatch. And yeah, you'll just lose. So this was just a straight up pretty rare mistake from Alephya. He plays his decks very well, even though there's a bunch of weird cards. And I draw MST, so that's gonna be game. And I did mention in the chat that I couldn't beat Despair. Can't remember what I sided for this matchup. I believe I went like 2 Sakuretsu, definitely Swords of Revealing Light. I think I put in Zambaira as well, like one of them. Just because he plays like Kaiku's and Regenerating Mummy. Zambaira's not great, but it at least helps me get over those and maybe relieve some of the pressure. Okay, so he starts off with a set monster. So Spy and Jar are going down 100%. Then it's going to be either between either setting 1 Regeki Break or a Mirror Force. I don't really want to be put into a position where I have to use Regeki Break to discard the other Regeki Break when I'm getting draws next turn with Jar of Greed plus my regular draw. And he can also just like flip Pyramid Turtle, summon another monster, use Nobleman, and just attack with both. And I definitely want Mirror Force for that. Like his deck by default just has to play really, really aggressively versus Chaos Turbo. They can't really play around Mirror Force all the time. So just doing Jar Mirror Force. He summons Pyramid Turtle, flips Sangan, and uses Nobleman. So this is that same scenario. I feel like even if this were another Pyramid Turtle, he would still make this play with double Turtle. Most likely. Not always, but decent chance. So I decided to let this go through. And the reason for that is because I don't really want to Mirror Force, have him go into like another Pyramid Turtle. Basically, I'm planning to Mirror Force next turn, who knows, he could put another monster out there. It's unlikely, but possible. Regardless, I can Mirror Force next turn, and best case, Jar Greed draws me into something to be able to stabilize against this field, and I won't have to Mirror Force. I know he plays Decree, so I have to just go and phase Jar. Decree is actually a reason that I maybe could have just Mirror Force right now. But he would have had to draw a Decree for turn, because he would have set it turn 1 for sure. So I just Jar into another Jar and then draw Sakuretsu. So I'm just drawing a bunch of traps this game. Only play here is Jar Greed and Regeki Break. The reason I want Regeki Break is, so first off, I lose to Decree. I lose to Decree no matter what I do. So we're gonna pretend the back row is not Decree. I want to set Regeki Break just in case he draws Decree, either next turn or at any point. So I just want to have this set, and I will have to just Mirror Force his monsters. If he goes Heavy Storm, I will change our Greed, chain Regeki Break, discard Regeki Break, destroy his turtle, so it's not like the worst thing, especially since it also destroys his back row, unless his back row is Heavy Storm, but I don't think it is Heavy Storm because when he makes a push like this, there was a decent chance he would have already used Heavy. Not always, because he did have Sangan, so. He thinks, and he just goes for the attack. Obviously, when I set 2 more back rows, he's never gonna summon a third monster here, because I could have Torrential. Obviously, my list doesn't have Torrential in it, but he doesn't know that. I've been playing Torrential in every tournament up until this one. And I just have to Mirror Force to relieve the pressure here. He goes for another Pyramid Turtle. One thing I actually did notice in watching some of his matches, he wasn't on Magician of Faith in this tournament. He's been using Magician of Faith in this deck a lot, but not this time. So that's a good thing to note when he sets monsters. I don't really have to worry about Magician of Faith. I did have to worry about it before though. So back row's not Decree, because he would have end phased it or used it on Mirror Force. So I just used Jar, which draws Tsukiyomi. Okay, so I know there's Pyramid Turtle, so I'm gonna try and set Tsukiyomi just to try and wall Pyramid Turtle and set Sakuretsu to destroy anything that could get over Tsukiyomi. And no reason to set other cards. These two should be able to handle this. So he thinks and tributes for Zaborg. That's fine. He attacks and I use Sakuretsu. So that's just a 2-for-2 trade, which is good for me. I'm not taking life points, relieved the pressure of the Zaborg. And I draw an excellent card here, Sangan, with the Regeki Breaks. The question is, should I summon it or should I set it? Let's think about this. He has 1 nobleman in the graveyard. We can ask, would he have tributed for Zaborg if he had nobleman in his hand? Would he have just held Zaborg in hand if he had nobleman? I'm not sure, but there's definitely a possibility he would have just kept the Pyramid Turtle on field. And I know he likes to use Mind Control, some amount of Mind Controls in these decks as well. So I actually would like to see Sangan in defense. Just because then he won't even be scared to like attack it with Regenerating Mummy. Whereas if I put it in attack mode, he might try something like set Regenerating Mummy, just so he doesn't have to attack Sangan. So I do think set Sangan is looking pretty good, but in the moment I was like, if he does have that one knock, or if he draws it, I'm in terrible shape, because this Sangan is so important to my hand with having the 2 Regeki breaks. Plus I get to just deal 1000 right now, which is something. I also don't have any spells in my graveyard, and the spies are gone, so he doesn't necessarily even have to activate Mind Control. He could hold Mind Control, because the best he would get is Dekoichi. Yeah. That's just my thought process here, and I do go for the attack mode Sangan, which I think is slightly better, given the final argument of me just not having any spells in grave. And he goes for Kaiku. And Premature on Zaborg. His thought process is like, I'm very likely to just use Torrential when he summons Kaiku, so he's pretty safe to go adding pressure with Premature. Now I have a decision. I have Sakuretsu and I have Regeki Break. So I really have to think about how I'm going to play this out. And there's a lot of options, so I'm not even sure if I want to go through every single one. Basically have to decide what is Sangan searching for. Obviously I have 2 Regeki breaks, so searching Serpent would be great. But also searching Faith would also be great, because then I get to drop this BLS to the board. But I also could just search Serpent and wait for Thunder Dragon to be drawn, or one of the 2 Magician of Fates. And it's a tough spot. I believe I allow this because I prioritize destroying the Kaiku. I don't really care about the Zaborg at this moment. I take this and I decide to go for the Faith, which could be a mistake, but I'm just like, I don't really want to hope that I draw a light and then just like have 3, 4, 5 turns of not drawing a light and then regret it. Though Serpent would have been very nice, like definitely very nice. It's hard to say what's better here. I just went for the aggressive line that's going to put me in a position to win the game no matter what. I'm forcing him to basically just have it here. And note that I also have the second Regeki Break to protect the BLS from Snatch or some other combo like creature swap. So this puts me in a position to win the game next turn. He goes for Breaker, And when he does this, I'm thinking I probably lose. He probably just has Snatch, and yeah. I have to just Regeki break it. If he has Snatch, at least I don't lose right away. So I have one shot to draw into Heavy Storm. I can also draw Chaos Sorcerer, Breaker, MST. Might be some other cards that help me stall out. Oh, Ring of Destruction. Ring would be a tie. So he has Mind Control. Luckily it's not Snatch. Unluckily that he had an answer. I draw a Night Assailant. Very good card, because no matter what, it'll take a monster with it. He summons Mummy, attacks, and I get to take that off the field. Again, Night Assailant, same thing. Set it. He sets a back row. I set MST. He ends. I'll activate Upstart. And this is when it gets a little interesting. This Chaos Sorcerer is live. He has not been playing cards. So what cards does he not play? There is cards like Snatch, right? You could definitely have Snatch. He doesn't have Book of Life. And the fact that he plays Book of Lives in his deck makes this decision a little easier for me. Because if he were to draw Book of Life, he gets to banish my only light, and then my Chaos Sorcerer's dead. And I know he plays a deck with Decrees, so I don't think that he plays Torrential. And I do think he plays like some, I don't know, he could be doing something with his side deck where he might have Mirror Force, he might not have Mirror Force. And I have MST for Snatch, so I decided to just summon the Chaos Sorcerer here and just attack. And end turn. He sets another back row, and I consider going for end phase MST, but the thing is, I don't have to do end phase MST. He doesn't play Scapegoat. If it's Ring, it doesn't matter. He would lose. Yeah, there's no reason for me to end phase MST. I just want to see my draw first and then decide. And I draw Tribe. So he didn't Torrential this field of Chaos Sorcerer Night Assailant. He didn't Mirror Force this. And considering his play, he 100% would have Mirror Force this. He would have Torrentialed. So I'm free to just activate MST on the fresh back row, which is the only card that could potentially stop me. And I know he plays stuff like Econ and Book of Moon in this deck, so that's why I feel I need to summon the second monster. And this is just going to be game. He has a Book of Moon set, so I needed to summon the second monster to win this turn. Alright, that is the match. And I have just one more match left in this tournament. It'll be against Moxies, and that'll be the next video. Thanks for watching.